Thanks for tuning in to MMA Lockup Fight fans. You're listening to 5 Minutes Alone with Rodney James. On today's show, I've got Army Staff Sergeant and Ultimate Fighter winner Colton Smith, who's going to be taking on Michael Chiesa on November 6th at Fort Campbell, Kentucky at UFC Fight for the Troops. Colton, thanks for joining us. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing very well. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, on behalf of myself and the crew here at MMA Lockup, I would like to thank you for your service. If you don't mind, just tell the audience a little bit about your military career.
Yeah, so I joined the Army in 2005. I'm an infantryman, Ranger qualified, Sapper qualified, Airborne qualified. Been to Iraq. I've worked for Congress, been to 24 countries on congressional duties. Now I'm the Chief Combative Instructor down at Fort Hood.
So tell me, how does that work? I mean, how are you able to manage balancing an active duty career and a UFC career at the same time? And furthermore, I mean, how were you able to break away from the Army long enough to film The Ultimate Fighter? And obviously right now you're training full-time in preparation for your fight. So how does that all work?
Yeah, so I took personal leave. I say I took 2 years of leave for the show. But initially to, fight to get in the house, I've grappled a lot, wrestled a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments, wrestled my whole life, and that's part of the tryout is you grapple, and I grappled against pretty good brown belt or black belt for the to get past that, the first round of tryouts, and luckily I submitted a couple times in the 90-second period, and then you got to showcase your striking on mitts, and I passed that, and then once I got in there, and I knew once I got to the interview I'd be fine. I was just myself. I didn't try to fake it. I let them know, I told the sheriff I don't even watch the show. I'm just here to win the show. And they're like, well, you're only 3-1. I'm like, well, that 3-1 is without training. I never was able to train because I'm an active duty soldier. And until now, I never really had a full fight camp. Now the Army's afforded me a little bit more time and realized in order for me to compete at that high level and represent the U.S. Army at the high level, I need to train at the high level. That's why I'm out here at Albuquerque. But again, I'm on my own personal leave. I don't take family vacations. My wife and my kids suffer, but they understand my dream. So I take personal leave every time I leave and go train. I don't get any handouts. I'm at work during PT. I get off, when duty day's over. I don't get, any parental treatment per se, but, I am here to represent the United States Army. They're allowing me to fight on the biggest stage in the world. And I feel like my impact on the Army right now is extremely large. The Army spends, millions of dollars on race cars and advertisements on race cars. And I'm sorry, but if I saw a guy fighting in the UFC who's in the Army, or I saw a race car with the U.S. Army on the side of it, I'd probably join the Army because the guy who's out there, putting his butt on the line in the cage. I try to do the best I can to be, the best representative of the United States Army and live the Army values and spirit of corps that we instill in our soldiers and show that with, trials and tribulations and intestinal fortitude, you can drive on, you can complete the mission and, chase your dreams on and off the battlefield, and that's what I've done so far.
Okay, and Modern Army Combatives is obviously your livelihood. Like you said before, it's your duty position at Fort Hood when you're on active duty. It's the way that you transitioned into mixed martial arts, by doing Army Combatives. In the midst of all the budget cuts, the government has talked about possibly getting rid of the program or at least dwindling it down and diminishing the current state of the program. What are your thoughts on that?
I have not heard anything else regarding that. What I will say, and this is near and dear to my heart, this topic is very near and dear to my heart. I'm dedicating my next fight. I always dedicate my fight to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm also dedicating it to save Army Combatives because Army Combatives saves lives. Airborne School does not save lives, and there's so many programs the Army has that are amazing. They're great for spirit of corps. So many schools the Army has, but that doesn't save lives. I'm sorry, but Army Combatives straight save lives. And if you take away from Army Combatives, whether you cut the program in half, you take it away, period, you're killing soldiers on the battlefield. So if you want that on your chest as a leader and as the higher ups who are deciding this, I'm sorry, but I'm only a staff sergeant. I'm lowly staff sergeant. I get it, but I will say it'll be a direct result of soldiers' lives being taken because of the Combatives program being cut or taken away.
And the sad thing is that a lot of these high-ranking officials that make these kind of decisions just don't really understand the Combatives program. Therefore, they don't see the training value in it. They think that it's a waste of manpower and resources. They think that it's dangerous and that soldiers are getting hurt by doing it.
I'm sorry, people get hurt more doing basketball PT or flag football PT than they do in Army Combatives. It's the truth. On Fort Hood, there's so many injuries when it comes to doing crazy PT that they don't know clue what they're doing. Well, we're well-trained instructors, especially at the Fort Hood Fighthouse, 3-time All-Army champion. We are the premier place for the United States Army for combatives. We have the premier location, premier facility, premier instructors, and we see it. We have rarely have any kind of injuries, especially because our instructors are being unsafe. If anything, a soldier comes to us not in the best of shape and his body just can't take it, and then we recycle them and send them back through and retrain them. We're there to train soldiers and pass them through the course so they can train their soldiers. So that's something that, I just want to make an emphasis on it is, a combatives in there to learn how to fight and be the best cage fighter in the world. Yeah, of course, that's coming from me, a UFC fighter. I get it. People say I'm a hypocrite for saying that, but, Army Combatives has made me who I am today as a man, as a soldier, and as a fighter. But the number one reason why I do Army Combatives is to save the soldiers on my left and right on the battlefield and to keep teaching my younger soldiers and my subordinates, the importance of hand-to-hand combat, because we can't rely on tools. We can't rely on our Blue Force trackers. We can't rely on our GPSs all the time. Sometimes you got to rely on, your hands, your bare hands, and finding weapons of opportunity and stuff like that to save your battle buddies to the left and to your right.
All right, I want to shift gears now. So you have a fight coming up at Fort Campbell on November 6th, Fight for the Troops. You're fighting against another Ultimate Fighter winner, Michael Chiesa, and both of you have similar grappling backgrounds. You're both wrestlers. You're both purple belts in jiu-jitsu. Very similar backgrounds. Is there anything that you think that you do better than him, or is there anything that you think he does better?
I'm definitely better than him at everything he's good at, and that's not me being cocky or anything like that. I talked with Greg Jackson. I talked with my coach here in Albuquerque. My coach is back at Fort Hood. This is a very good fight stylistically for me, and I know that. I'm really excited that Michael took the fight. He's a great guy. I've met him before. We spent some time together in Vegas after I won the Ultimate Fighter. But I do feel like my wrestling's better, my jiu-jitsu's better, my striking's better, my pressure's better, my cardio's better. He has his X factor is his heart. That guy does not quit. That guy, he keeps coming. He has like a soldier spirit. I'm really blown away. He's a civilian, and he's extremely tough. I think soldiers are the toughest people in the world. And Michael Chiesa is definitely up there with us. He's extremely talented, tough. I got to be smart. Anybody can win a fight anytime, by any means. Submission, knockout. But with that being said, my game plan, as long as I plan my game plan effectively, listen to my coaches, there's going to be no reason why my hand won't be raised, on November 6th.
I can only imagine what a tremendous opportunity that this is for you. Tell me how much this means to you to be able to fight a UFC fight in front of the troops.
It's amazing. I spent 2 weeks at Fort Campbell recently. I was training with the 5th Group Special Forces, helping them out with their hand-to-hand program. I went TDY up there, trained with some 101st guys, some 160th SOAR guys. And, they're awesome soldiers. What I call them is meat eaters. Fort Campbell is full of meat eaters, guys just like me and you who, and like Tim Kennedy, who go on they're going to war, they're coming back from war, they're training for more, and they're just constantly training their soldiers and doing the right thing as NCOs and as leaders, as well as the officers as well. So I love being around those guys. I cannot wait to go back. It's like a second home to me. And being around my soldiers, that's my element. I'm so excited to be able to fight in front of all my soldiers and stuff. When I first started this whole MMA, side career, hobby type thing, I was at Fort Bliss, and all my whole company, commander and everybody would come out to my fights. And I've had, some of my sergeant majors and my colonels from my local amateur fights and my jiu-jitsu tournaments always supporting me. And those are my best performances, having my battle buddies, there with me. And what can happen? They're with me. They're there for me. It's just amazing to be able to go out there and perform for them and perform for the Army Combatives community.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, listen, I think we're about out of time. Our 5 minutes is about up here. Colton, thanks again for joining us on the show here. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the fans?
I just want to thank the Army, number one, for allowing me to chase my dreams as a non-commissioned officer, as well as my extracurriculars as an athlete. And I also, obviously want to thank Jackson's MMA out here, Greg Jackson. I want to thank Tim Kennedy for introducing me to all these awesome guys at Greg Jackson's, and all my coaches and teammates and coworkers at the Fort Hood Combatives 3-Corps facility. We are the best in the Army for a reason. Thank my family, thank Jesus Christ for always being there for me and guiding my steps, and thank you for having me on this interview.
Well, it's been my pleasure. Sergeant Smith, you are a class act. Good luck to you.